In the ever-evolving world of celebrity culture, few figures have managed to sustain both the mystique and devotion that Johnny Depp commands. With a career that spans decades, genres, and continents, Depp has consistently enthralled audiences, not just with his cinematic prowess, but also with the raw honesty he brings to his off-screen persona. In recent months, however, it's not a film, court case, or romantic entanglement that has fans and the internet abuzz. Rather, it is a new and unexpected chapter in his body art journey. Tattoos that have left his global fan base stunned, captivated, and deeply moved. Social media platforms erupted the moment images of Depp's newest tattoos began circulating online. Captured candidly, while the actor was arriving at an event in Paris, the tattoos were prominently displayed on his arms, neck, and even partially on his chest beneath a loosely buttoned shirt. What drew immediate attention wasn't merely the aesthetic appeal or the fact that Depp had once again added to his growing collection of ink. It was the potent, almost poetic symbolism etched into his skin. Fans immediately launched into speculation, analysis, and even emotional reflection, wondering what stories these tattoos were meant to tell. As it turns out, the meaning behind them runs far deeper than even the most imaginative interpretations initially suggested. Johnny Depp has always used tattoos as a form of self-expression, often marking significant turning points in his life, with ink. Whether it was the now iconic Winona Forever that morphed into Wino Forever after his breakup with actress Winona Ryder, or the 3 rectangles on his hand symbolizing his belief in symmetry and simplicity, each tattoo has carried a fragment of his soul. The new additions, however, have ushered in a more introspective, spiritual, and possibly redemptive era in Depp's life. The first tattoo that caught attention was an intricate depiction of a broken marionette. Etched onto the inside of his forearm, the design is raw and detailed, showing strings snapped in midair and the puppet's limbs dangling in various directions. To some, this image immediately evoked Depp's battles with control, whether from Hollywood studios, public scrutiny, or personal relationships. For others, it symbolized freedom from the constraints that have long dictated his life. Considering Depp's high-profile legal battles with ex-wife Amber Heard and the ensuing public fallout, the marionette appears to represent a declaration of autonomy. It's a visual metaphor for reclaiming his narrative, severing the strings that once held him in a place of silence or misrepresentation. Below the marionette, in careful black cursive, is the phrase, "I forgive you, but I don't forget." This chilling line instantly sparked speculation. Was it directed at Heard? At former friends or colleagues who distanced themselves during his time of turmoil? Or was it perhaps a broader commentary on human relationships and the resilience required to survive betrayal? Whatever the answer, fans were quick to admire the maturity embedded in the phrase. It was neither bitter nor dismissive. Instead, it encapsulated the nuanced pain and growth that accompanies healing after trauma. In an age of cancel culture and public condemnation, Depp's choice of words spoke volumes about his ability to rise above vitriol without erasing the scars it left behind. Another tattoo, this one wrapped around his ribcage, drew an equally emotional reaction. It is a finely inked quote in Latin, "Amor vincit omnia," translated as "Love conquers all." This phrase, both timeless and resonant, appeared to touch a tender nerve among fans. Some saw it as a tribute to his children, Lily Rose and Jack, who have been the bedrock of his strength throughout his turbulent years. Others speculated it might be dedicated to a new romantic partner or someone who has helped him rediscover light in recent darkness. Yet there were those who interpreted it more philosophically, suggesting that the tattoo reflects Depp's faith in compassion and love as forces stronger than hatred, fame, or judgment. Whatever its inspiration, it stood in stark contrast to the marionette and forgiveness tattoo, creating a beautiful juxtaposition of hurt and hope. The neck tattoo, perhaps the most visible and striking, featured a crow in flight, wings extended, beak open, mid-call. Rendered in haunting detail with deep black and gray shading, the crow seemed to soar against the backdrop of Depp's collarbone. Crows have long been associated with transformation, mystery, and the spiritual unknown, for Beige. Some cultures, they symbolize death, not in the literal sense, but in the ending of one chapter and the beginning of another. Fans familiar with Depp's affinity for literature and mythology were quick to point out that the crow could be a nod to Edgar Allan Poe, whose gothic sensibilities and poetic torment often mirror Depp's artistic soul. Others noted that the bird may symbolize Depp's emergence from darkness, flying toward self-discovery and perhaps redemption. Given how vocal the actor has been in recent interviews about his personal evolution and spiritual growth, the crow seemed to represent that very metamorphosis. Not all of Depp's new tattoos were somber or cryptic. One of the most heartwarming surprises came in the form of a simple, childlike drawing of a smiling sun, inked near his right wrist. It was later revealed that the design was drawn by his son, Jack, years ago. Depp had kept the original crayon, sketch in a notebook, and finally decided to have it permanently placed on his skin. Fans were deeply moved by this revelation, praising the actor for honoring the innocence and joy that his children bring into his life. In a career and life marked by both artistic highs and emotional lows, this tiny sun seemed to act as a beacon, a symbol of what truly matters to him beyond the screen and the spotlight. Also gaining attention was a tattoo on Depp's upper back that had only partially been seen before. Now fully visible thanks to new photos, it depicted a pair of clasped hands, chained together but surrounded by roses. It was a complex, layered piece that triggered countless interpretations. Was it a statement on toxic love? Relationships that imprison even as they seem beautiful? Or perhaps a message about loyalty and sacrifice, that sometimes devotion feels like captivity? Depp has not commented directly on the symbolism, leaving fans to piece together their own theories. What is undeniable, however, is the emotional gravity the image carries and the sheer artistic integrity it represents. Tattoo artists who have worked with Depp over the years have noted how deeply involved he becomes in the design and execution of each piece. He's not the kind of celebrity who simply points at a flash sheet and sits back. He collaborates, sketches, debates. Each mark on his body is deliberate, measured, and intensely personal. According to insiders, the most recent series of tattoos was completed over the course of several months, with Depp reportedly flying in artists from various countries to work on the project. One Paris-based artist who requested anonymity said that working with Depp felt like collaborating with a poet rather than a client. He doesn't just want a tattoo, the artist shared. He wants to tell a story on his skin. He wants to bleed truth and ink in the same breath. The public response has been overwhelming. Twitter trends erupted within hours of the tattoo. Photos being released with hashtags like Johnny Depp tattoos, ink with meaning, and Depp speaks through art dominating global feeds. Instagram fan pages compiled close-up photos, offering artistic breakdowns and emotional interpretations. Reddit threads dissected each symbol with academic precision, referencing mythology, psychology, and even numerology in attempts to decode the messages. One particularly viral post stated, "Every tattoo is a line in a poem that Johnny is writing with his body, and this might be his most haunting chapter yet." Perhaps what makes Depp's new tattoos so impactful is their timing. In the aftermath of his very public court battles, the loss of major roles, and a complex web of personal struggles, the actor has been carving out a quieter but more authentic life. He's touring with his band, engaging in smaller independent film projects, and spending more time in Europe, away from the relentless gaze of Hollywood. These tattoos feel like journal entries from a man who has not only endured but reflected deeply on what that endurance has cost him, and what it has given him in return. For his most ardent fans, the tattoos are not just art. They are milestones. They chronicle a man's journey through disgrace, despair, and eventual self-rediscovery. They're physical proof that pain can birth beauty, that loss can inspire growth, and that expression doesn't always need a stage or a script. It can be etched permanently on skin, visible for the world to witness, ponder, and admire. Johnny Depp's body has become a living gallery, a testament to resilience, remorse, rebellion, and rebirth. In many ways, these tattoos have reignited the public's fascination with Depp, not as a tabloid figure or a movie icon, but as a human, being navigating complex emotions through unconventional means. They've stirred conversations not just about the actor, but about the power of personal symbolism and the courage it takes to share one's scars so openly. Few celebrities have allowed themselves to be this raw, this vulnerable, and even fewer have done it with such quiet dignity. As Depp continues his creative and personal journey, one can only imagine what future ink he may choose to add. For now, however, the world remains captivated by this latest chapter. His tattoos, far from being mere body decorations, have become philosophical statements, visual poems authored in pain, memory, and hope. In breaking the internet, they've done more than go viral. They've touched people, started dialogues, and reminded everyone that the human spirit, though battered, still seeks meaning, still creates beauty, and still refuses to be silenced.